In today's First Five, I want to give our thanks on behalf of the nation and everyone I know to all of our veterans. Thank you to the veterans on this Veterans Day 2019, actually the 100th anniversary of the Veterans Day idea. And I want to talk a little bit about the history, a little about the composition of America, who are our veterans now, and about President Trump's role in the parade in Washington or New York today. So to start with, the USA Veterans Day falls on November 11th, no matter what. That's because that was the date that the armistice was signed, ending World War I. They actually called it the Armistice Day for a few decades, and then later it became Veterans Day because we wanted to honor, of course, our World War II veterans and all others. But today is the 100th anniversary of the of the Veterans Day thing and the Veterans Day parade in New York City. President Trump kicked off that parade today, and in just a moment, I'm going to play just a short clip of what he had to say. In the next segment, I'm going to tell you things you might not know about President Trump and the veterans in our country, but in focusing on our veterans, it's a very interesting thing to think about. It's basically about 20 million Americans are veterans out of 320 plus million. So 20 million Americans or so are veterans, and the largest segment of those 20 million veterans who are still alive today are veterans of the Gulf War. That's the largest chunk of the 20 million, next largest chunk being veterans of the Vietnam War. And of course, we still have, I have some numbers, so I say them correctly. It's actually 20.4 million veterans in America. But we have veterans still from World War II, something in the range of 770,000 World War II, 1.6 who served in the Korean conflict. So many veterans in our country, honoring them all today. Simply put, America wouldn't be America without them. The need for brave men and women to serve in our military, to fight our wars, to go fight somewhere where they're risking life and limb, many of them losing their lives and losing their perfect health, having all sorts of health problems coming home. The veterans are what make us able in America to sleep safely at night, to sleep in peace, because we know the veterans over the decades and today are the ones standing up for America, keeping us safe today. In the Why It Matters segment, at the close of the show today, there's a poem in the Why It Matters segment. I'm not going to read it right now, but the poem really is about honoring the veterans and all that they really have enabled, despite many other segments of our society trying to take credit for the goodness of America. It's really the veterans who have kept America safe and free. So we have as the segments. And also it's the Marine Corps birthday. Got to thank our militaries. Yesterday was Marine Corps birthday. It was 244 years old yesterday. You can believe that, the Marine Corps. So we have a tremendous legacy in our country of men and women who served in our military, who are being honored today. Thank you to every single one of them. I now want to turn to the New York City Veterans Day Parade, which for the first time, a U.S. president led and spoke at the beginning of the parade. Here we have the very wonderful Matt, the producer, who always just has everything ready. Matt, the producer, I want to play briefly a little segment of what President Trump had to say in this opening ceremony for this 100th Veterans Day Parade in New York City.
Today we come together as one nation to salute the veterans of the United States Armed Forces, the greatest warriors to ever walk the face of the earth. Our veterans risked everything for us. Now it is our duty to serve and protect them every single day of our lives. It is truly an honor to come back to New York City, right here at Madison Square Park, to be the first president ever to attend America's parade. To every veteran here with us, to the thousands preparing to march on Fifth Avenue, it'll be really something. And to the 18 million veterans across our country, the First Lady and I have come to express the everlasting love and loyalty of 327 million Americans.
If you watch that on YouTube, by the way, any of the stories I talk about on my show, you can always go to our website, americacanwetalk.org. On the homepage, under shows, drop down list of links. There's a link to his entire speech. There's a link to all the stories I'll talk about today. I love having you go there because I think the things I share, I can barely find time in this brief 45 or 50-minute podcast every day to tell you all I'd like to tell you about all the stories. But there's more there from that speech. But as I was listening to that speech this morning, which this speech happened this morning, there were comments, of course, as there always are on YouTube. And, you know, obviously the negatives, the people who are anti-Trumpers are very busy on social media. And so they're piling on, you know, criticizing, hey, weren't you the guy who didn't serve? Hey, you know, what have you ever done? And much more malicious, nasty, mean-spirited things than that. So in closing out today's First Five, I love that President Trump was the first president ever to go up to give the opening speech at the Veterans Day Parade in New York City on the 100th anniversary of the Veterans Day Parade. I love how he honors our military. And the next segment I'm going to turn to after our First Five is to tell you just some of the things President Trump has done for our veterans, for our military, and just to give a little counterbalance to all the people who are constantly maligning him because he didn't happen to serve, which I'm pretty sure is also true of Barack Obama, several other Democrats. Somehow the left-wingers who pile on Trump all the time about not being a veteran didn't seem to mind that Obama didn't. But in wrapping up this First Five, thank you so very much to every veteran who served this country. I know men who are veterans, women who are veterans. We actually have close family friends where the husband is a Navy captain, Navy pilot who is a veteran, and he posted the most just sweet, emotional tribute today to his wife to say basically, because he served 7 tours, being on a Navy pilot, that his wife was home with the kids, organizing everything, taking care of house repairs, taking care of the things that have to be done so that the veterans can serve. So thank you too for all of our military families whose sacrifice and hard work make the veterans' contribution to our country possible. And that, my friends, is today's First Five.